What's up everyone? My name is Marie, welcome to my channel and welcome to another speed build. So for today's video I am doing something a little bit different. This is definitely something that I have not done before. And that is I am literally copying a floor plan. You can kind of tell that by the way that I'm building this house. I'm already building it a little bit differently, like in a different order, and that's because I'm starting with the floor plan. Because what happened was I was really in the mood to just sit down and build something, but I was feeling a little bit uninspired. Like I did not know what I wanted to build, and yes, I could go ahead and do another just regular family home or something, or a tiny home, but I don't know, I was just feeling a little bit uninspired. I didn't know what kind of style I wanted to be building in, and so yeah, I decided to go ahead and scroll through Pinterest and literally look for a floor plan to copy. So this is kind of like a real to Sims floor plan build challenge kind of thing. I was definitely trying to see how close I could get it to the actual floor plan that I found. And this floor plan also came with a picture of the facade of the house. I'll make sure to put it in the video here somewhere, the picture of the facade and also the picture of the actual floor plan. I'll also try and remember to place a link to the floor plan to the website where I found it in the description box down below if you want to take a closer look at it to see what I did with it and how I kind of translated the whole floor plan and stuff into The Sims. Yeah, I'll make sure to place a link in the description box so you can go ahead and check that out if you wanted to. But yeah, that's what I tried to do for this build, and it was so much fun. Like I said before, I have never done this before, so this was definitely a nice change of pace. And the house is also way different than houses that I usually build, because this one is definitely a little bit more realistic in the sense that it's not that interesting looking from each and every angle of the house, which is very realistic, but whenever I am building in The Sims, I try to just make my homes look cute and interesting from every possible angle, and that is just maybe not the most realistic thing, but it's what I like about building in The Sims. Like, I like how it's a little bit cartoony and not too realistic. I mean, it's a video game, so you can just kind of go ahead and build whatever you want to and turn your builds into just little works of art is how I like to look at it, at least. So that's what I like to use it for, but for this build it was definitely a lot of fun to just do something a little bit different and something a little bit more realistic in that sense as well, because you can definitely see that, for example, both sides of the house are very boring, like they're just flat walls, and that is something that I usually try to avoid. Like I kind of want to make sure that I have interesting looking bump outs or details on all of the sides of the house, but for this one, the back and the front are kind of interesting, but the sides are just flat, which makes sense for the floor plan because the floor plan for this house is actually really nice. In my opinion, it makes a lot of sense. The house is pretty spacious as well, which I think in real life it would not be this big for the house that it is. Though the real life floor plan, I say real life, but it's kind of like a drawn floor plan. But the actual floor plan for this house also has 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, I believe. I don't really quite remember what I did, even though I just built this yesterday. But we'll take a look at it once we move on to the inside. But I think that the rooms in The Sims turned out to be a little bit bigger than what they would turn out to be in real life because, yeah, the size proportions are just a little bit different in The Sims, and you're definitely restricted to the grid that we have to work with in the game. For example, the size of the tiles that you kind of have to stick to. Like you can't build like half tiles or quarter tiles or something in the game. Like one tile is one tile and that's what you have to work with for like the size of the walls and stuff like that. So yeah, you're definitely kind of restricted when it comes to recreating real life floor plans in The Sims, which you know this if you've done this before. But yeah, that's what I liked about it for the challenge. And I think it came pretty close. I think what I did is actually pretty close to the floor plan that I found online. But like I said, the house just turned out pretty spacious. The kitchen mainly is very, very big. The kitchen definitely takes up most of the house, and I don't know if it would be like that in real life. I mean, maybe it would be, I don't really know. But the kitchen is definitely very spacious, but it's what I like about it. So yeah, and I also figured that the style of this house fit perfectly in the world of Willow Creek, which is where I'm building right now. I never build here because, I don't know, I like Willow Creek, but I'm kind of, I don't know, maybe a little bit bored of Willow Creek. I'm not quite sure. And the style of house is not my typical go-to style of house that I like to build. But this little house that I found on Pinterest was perfect for this little neighborhood. And I think it looks really cute in here. The exterior of the house fits perfectly into this world. And then when I moved on to the interior of the house, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it interior style wise. But I made it quite modern. I was just thinking that this house was probably a little bit older and stuff. The exterior of the house, I mean. But I was thinking that maybe the family that lives here, they renovated it pretty recently and they just made it a little bit more modern on the inside. So that's what I decided to go ahead and do. And I used a lot of items from, for example, Eco Lifestyle, because Eco Lifestyle comes with a lot of very nice and modern furniture pieces. And I also use those chairs. I think those chairs are from Tiny Living. So I kind of combined items from packs that are a little bit more modern. For example, the coffee table is from Snowy Escape, which also comes with very modern and sleek looking furniture items. So that is kind of the style that I wanted to go for. And then at the same time, I also made it very family friendly, because I did turn this house into a family home. The house, as I mentioned before, has 3 bedrooms, I believe. It has the parents' bedroom, the master bedroom with an ensuite, and then it has 2 kids' bedrooms with a shared bathroom in between. Not a Jack and Jill bathroom, but the bathroom is literally in between the bedrooms, which is definitely, it makes a lot of sense, which makes sense because I was copying a real life floor plan, and real life floor plans tend to make a lot of sense. At least they tend to make more sense than what I come up with on my own when it comes to building in The Sims, because usually what I do is I focus more so on the exterior of the house than I do on the floor plan. Like, I just want the house to look cute. Like I talked about before, like I want to turn my homes or my builds that I do into tiny little works of art, tiny little creative outbursts, if that makes any sense. And I enjoy working on the exterior of the house the most, I think, even though I do really, really like furnishing houses as well, but the exterior is definitely my favorite part of building. So yeah, what I usually do is I spend more time on, well, not more time necessarily, but I don't know, I want the exterior of the house to look cute. And then whatever the exterior ends up looking like, that's what I would have to work with when it comes to the floor plan of the house. So sometimes that's very difficult. Like sometimes it literally takes me up to an hour or maybe even longer to figure out a floor plan, because the shape of the house is just so weird and wonky and doesn't really make any sense. So that makes it very difficult to come up with a floor plan that actually makes sense. I mean, I do think that I always succeed in some way, shape, or form. Like sometimes it doesn't make any sense at all, but I always try and I enjoy the process. So I think that that is the most important thing. But yeah, for this house, obviously I didn't have that issue because I was copying, once again, an existing floor plan, a real life floor plan, one that you would find in real life. So I thought that that was really fun to do for a change. And yeah, you can see that the interior of the house is very modern. I used the kitchen counters from, what's it called? Jungle Adventure, which are definitely, I think these are my favorite counters in the game still. Though I do really enjoy the new ones that we got with Snowy Escape. But I still think that these are my absolute favorite. I also love the ones from Parenthood, but still, I don't know. I think that these ones are my absolute favorite. So I decided to use them in this build again. I stepped away from them for a little while because I was overusing them a little bit at some point, so I kind of stepped away from them. But for this house, I thought they were perfect because the darker wood tone was really nice, and I combined it with the dark brown stove that comes with Cool Kitchen, I believe, and then just a white fridge because I didn't want it to be too matchy-matchy, if that makes any sense. Like, I didn't want a brown fridge and a brown stove. I kind of wanted to mix and match it a little bit. So yeah, that's what I did, and I really like the way that this open kitchen came out. It's very spacious, like I mentioned. I also placed a couple of bar stools by the island counters, which is something that was actually also featured in the floor plan of the house. If you want to look at it, you can just click the link in the description box and you'll see that the island counters, or at least like there was supposed to be some sort of wall with a hole in it, kind of mid-century modern style, I think, but I just decided to keep the whole floor plan open because I thought that would make a little bit more sense for in The Sims. But yeah, there were definitely supposed to be some sort of like kitchen counters, bar stool kind of situation, so that's what I copied from the floor plan as well. And yeah, I really like the way that it came out. I was also thinking that a family like this, a family of 4, they would probably spend a lot of time in the kitchen. Like, they would have family dinners, the kids would sit at the kitchen table or the dining table to do their homework or something, even though they do have, I gave them desks and stuff as well. But yeah, I figured that this family would spend a lot of their time together in the kitchen. And then the floor plan also featured this, this office area in the front of the house, which I thought was really, really nice, and it kind of sold me on the floor plan for some reason. I don't know why, but I really liked the idea of having this dedicated office space in the front of the house with windows that just look out on the street, and I don't know, it just made so much sense to me that I just decided to go ahead and use this floor plan. And as you can see, the office is really spacious. Once again, I think in real life it was not supposed to be this big, but because of the whole size proportions thing that we have to deal with, it turned out to be this large. So I kind of turned it into a skill building area as well. I created a little office area with a computer, and I also placed a guitar in here and an easel, a nice space to just work on the painting skill, which is really useful for The Sims. I also placed a big bookcase in here and stuff. So yeah, it's just a very nice family office area slash skill building room, I think, which is very useful for gameplay. Overall, this house I think is very, very nice for gameplay because once again, the floor plan is just very easy to work with. It's very easy on your eyes, like it's not difficult to figure out at all. So yeah, which is what I like about this house. Oh yeah, and I also really, really like this laundry room, which is off the kitchen, off the dining area. There was a laundry room in the floor plan, so I decided to turn this into a laundry room as well, since we do have laundry machines in the game. And I also decided to turn it into a little bit of an extension to the kitchen. You can see that I placed the dishwasher and the microwave in here because I don't know, in general, I just don't really like the look of microwaves and dishwashers in kitchens in The Sims. I don't know why, but they take up so much counter space and I don't really like how they look. So I always try to hide them a little bit, or I just don't use them at all. And if you want to use them, you can just place them in yourself for gameplay, because for gameplay it's nice to have those things, but I just don't really like the way they look, so I always try to hide them a little bit. And so that that laundry room was perfect. I could just fit in a couple extra counters and a dishwasher and a microwave in there. So I really, really enjoyed that little part of the kitchen as well. But yeah, this is the first bedroom that I'm furnishing, and I furnished this one for a teenager. I figured this house or this room would be for, like I just mentioned, a teenager, and then the other bedroom, I furnished that one for a child who is almost at the point where they're growing up to be a teenager. So they're like an older child, and this one is a younger teenager. That's kind of the family dynamics that I was thinking about. And then for the parents, I didn't think about that too much. I was thinking 2 parents living here, or maybe a dad and a stepmom, or whatever kind of family situation you want to have, 2 moms, 2 dads. I didn't really think about that, but I was thinking 2 parents. And then for the bedrooms, I was thinking this one could be for a teenage girl, and then the other one could be for a kid, a little boy. But it doesn't really matter. It's just what came to my mind. It could be for anyone though. This room could just as well be for a guy, and the other room could be just as well for a girl. Like, it really doesn't matter. But it's just kind of what I had in my mind when I was furnishing this room. And I really like the bright color scheme of this bedroom. You can see that also the bedrooms turned out to be quite spacious. So I actually did have more than enough space to place double beds in each of the kids' bedrooms, which is not something that I usually do. Usually my bedrooms are just, or at least the bedrooms for the kids are a little bit smaller. So, but yeah, like I said 1,000 times already, this floor plan the rooms turned out to be a little bit spacious, which is not bad. Like, I liked it. It was nice to, for a change, furnish bigger kids' bedrooms. So I did have a lot of fun with that. But yeah, normally for a kid's bedroom, I would definitely not place a double bed in there. But since I was thinking that this kid was also almost growing up to be a teenager, I was thinking maybe they already got a little bedroom renovation and they got a new bed and a new desk or something. That's kind of what I was thinking. Maybe already for their birthday, I don't really know. But yeah, I definitely did have more than enough space for double beds in here, which is pretty freaking luxurious in my opinion, but I like it. I really enjoy the color schemes of the bedrooms and the way that they turned out. And yeah, for the kid, I was thinking that they were really into sports. You could see that I hung a couple of like medals and stuff on the wall and prizes that they've won, but also a couple toys, since I was thinking that this was still a kid staying in this room. So there is a little Blorfy in the form of a dinosaur and also a toy box. So they don't have too many toys, but they still have a couple of toys, which makes gameplay for kids, yeah, just a little bit better, a little bit easier for your game. And I also gave them a big bookcase and a desk that I cluttered up a bit. I didn't really give the kid or the teen computers of their own. However, I did place a laptop on one of the island counters in the kitchen, so I was kind of thinking that the laptop belonged to the teenager. They probably need that for high school or something. I don't know, that's just kind of what I was thinking. And then the office area is a family computer, but maybe also for one of the parents. Maybe one of the parents really need a home office for their job or their career, or maybe they work from home or something like that. But yeah, this is the shared kids' bathroom and also the whole bathroom that the guests would use if you have guests coming over. It's a pretty generic looking bathroom. It's nothing too fancy, nothing too special. I used the island or the Jungle Adventure counters in the bathroom again to just kind of create that, I don't know, cohesiveness, if that's how you say it, throughout the house, because they're the same counters that I use in the kitchen as well. I usually like to do that for my houses because it's easier to look at. It looks a little bit less messy when you look at the house from above, like when you're playing the game. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I just kind of like to coordinate kitchens and bathrooms in that way for some reason. I don't really know. But yeah, this is the parents' bedroom, which I also really like. I use a lot of white furniture in this bedroom, and then I use that very warm-toned yellow paint on the walls, which I always think is really pretty, but I just don't use this color enough. I always kind of forget that it exists, but I really like the way that it looks. I really think it's very pretty. And then as you can see, the parents have an ensuite. I didn't record that one because it's literally almost exactly the same as the kids' shared bathroom. However, I think that I gave the parents a shower instead of a shower tub combination. I don't really quite remember, but the color scheme and stuff is exactly the same. It's nothing too special. But yeah, I kind of gave the parents this little makeshift vanity area with the hampers underneath. I don't think that those hampers are actually usable. I don't think your Sims can reach those. But there are hampers in both of the bathrooms, and there's also a hamper in the laundry room, which should be accessible as well. I playtested it, so that should be fine. So yeah, those hampers underneath the vanity are just decorative, but I really like the way it looked, so I wanted to place them there anyway. And if your Sims clothes do end up getting in that hamper, which I don't really know if it would, but you can also just delete them and maybe add something decorative, something different that's decorative underneath. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for the inside of the house, and then shortly I'll be moving on to the backyard. The floor plan did have this little storage unit off of the back porch, so I decided to create that as well. It's not really functional, but I just like the idea of it. I think it's very realistic, so I just placed a couple of bikes in there and a broom and the decoration boxes from Seasons. I just thought that would make sense and it looked cute. I just really like the way that little door looks right there. And then for the backyard, I didn't really have that much space left because the house is pretty big, but I did place a nice dining table out here, and I also gave them a grill and an outdoor bin, which I almost forgot, but I didn't. So there is an outdoor bin. And then for the rest of the backyard, I think I just placed some landscaping everywhere. There is a couple of lounge chairs and a few planter boxes to work on the gardening skill if you wanted to for your Sims. And I basically just placed a whole bunch of shrubs and bushes and plants around to make it look a little bit green and overgrown. It's just that classic Sims house landscaping look that I tried to go for this house. I was definitely really enjoying it. Oh yeah, and I also added an additional picnic table in the backyard as well, which I think looked really cute. And I just placed a couple extra trees and stuff to fill up the space a little bit and make it fit into the neighborhood a little bit better since it's so green around here. It's so pretty. I should build in Willow Creek a little bit more often. Turns out I actually still really like it, so I should build here a little bit more often. But yeah, that's pretty much already going to be it for this house. So I really hope that you enjoyed this Real to Sims floor plan kind of challenge, if you will. You can download this house off the gallery if you want to. My username on the gallery is Simmarysims. You can also follow me on Twitter and on Instagram if you wanted to. My username on there is Simmarysims as well. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next build. Bye!